you have posted during the last week, and also any more important facts that need to be discussed when we are following the Arya pathway. So before starting the session, let us remind ourselves that this moment is a very valuable moment because Supreme Dhamma, Supreme Buddha, Supreme Dhamma, and Supreme Sangha is very rare, and the resurfacing of Arya Dhamma or the reality of the world is very rare, and we have got the great opportunity to understand and listen to that rare Dhamma which should end this sansaric suffering. All the meritorious power which we have gathered throughout the sansaric journey may agglomerate together in this occasion, creating the perfect background for our understanding, to complete our understanding, and ultimately may everyone be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Accept this blessing with sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also, during this sansaric journey, we might have done various unwholesome acts towards worldly beings. Since we haven't understood the importance of Arya Dhamma before this encounter, we might have done various immoral deeds towards triple gems and Arya individuals. So if we have done such things during this sansaric journey, let us seek forgiveness for our wrongdoings. By forgiveness in Arya discipline, we mean that we are acknowledging our faults and we are promising ourselves in front of Supreme Buddhas that we are not going to do those kinds of immoral, unethical, unwholesome acts again. With that determination in mind, accept this with sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
So today we have only got one question, and that is about monkhood. And maybe some of you might be interested in that question, and some might not find that very relevant for you. But I'll try to make it relevant to everybody else as well, because monk or a normal individual, what we have to practice throughout this Arya discipline or Arya pathway is the same. The difference when it comes to a monk is he has a special privilege because he's free from earning. He does not have to look for food, shelter, robes, and medicine, because there are devotees who are sponsoring for that by spending their righteous money, time, and effort. So since we have that privilege, we can focus 100% on the pathway, on eliminating raga, dvesha, and moha. So that's the difference. But apart from that, it's the same raga, dvesha, moha that everybody has that we have to eliminate. So I'll read out the question and then we'll go into the question. My question is, how do you meditate at everyday life of the bhikkhu? So that is the question. So if I if I give you a holistic idea of how this bhikkhu life is, so we have two wings when it comes to this life. One is Karuna Sasana and one is Prajna Sasana. Karuna Sasana is about the background. It creates the background for the Prajna Sasana. Without Karuna Sasana, there's no Prajna Sasana actually. So Karuna Sasana, we start this journey again. Everybody starts this journey with Karuna Sasana, because at the beginning I am referring to many thousand eons ago, maybe many hundreds of eons ago. We might have started this journey by simply worshipping or paying our respect to a Supreme Buddha or a Pacheka Buddha or a Arya disciple of Supreme Buddha. So being respectful, being kind, and being generous to that kind of individual might have started our Arya pathway, might have created the meritorious power that is needed to start this Arya journey. And that meritorious power might have created more opportunities for us to encounter more Buddha Dhamma, more Supreme Buddhas, more Supreme Dhamma, and more Supreme Sangha. So in those occasions also, because we have a past habit as well, we might have acted in the same kusala ways or same wholesome ways towards towards the triple gems. So by that, today we have got all the required background, especially we have life. Without life, without a human life, without the ability to live, we are not able to understand this Dhamma, and we should have comfort. If we are in pain, suffering, you would not have been able to understand this Dhamma. Then we should have refreshness. If we are not refreshed, if we are tired and lack of energy, we can't understand this Dhamma. Then there should be power. By power, what I mean is the physical power and mental power. Without that, we would not be able to understand this Dhamma. Then we have the wisdom, the Patibhana wisdom. So this is called Ayu Varna Sapa Bala Pajna. Ayusha, Varna, Sapa, Bala, and the Patibhana Jnana. These are the 5 things we have created in the past that we are consuming right now. Because we have created those causes, those meritorious power, we have already generated that, or we have already cultivated our Karuna Sasana field. It's a field. It's like a paddy field. It's like any other field that where the crops grow. So when we plant the crops, they grow. They grow out and give us the harvest. So now we are getting the harvest of what we have cultivated before. And that is the background we are consuming right now. Since that helped very much. Since that Karuna Sasana helped very much, it would last throughout this life until you attain Nibbana, and even if you become an Arihat, you would have that Karuna Sasana by helping others, being generous, giving others. But after becoming an Arihat, you would give the great Dhamma, the most important thing before becoming Arya, before becoming Arihat. If you are a lay person, you would be generous, you would be giving things with alobha, adesa, and amoha. If you are a monk, you would be giving the great essence of Dhamma. You would be helping people with wisdom, knowledge, and everything by helping them to get rid of this sansaric journey. So that is Karuna Sasana. So that what I am doing right now is Karuna Sasana. While doing Karuna Sasana, it actually helps to uplift or develop my Prajna Sasana as well. When I am giving out this sermon, when I am having this Dhamma talk, what I am doing is I am trying to focus on Dhamma. So I am using Dhamma Vijaya Sambojjhanga. And when the Sambojjhanga or Satta Bojjhanga are completed, are fulfilling, that is Prajna Sasana. So these two go hand in hand. So one wing is Karuna Sasana and the other wing is Prajna Sasana. The Prajna Sasana is the meditation part. So we can, even if you are not planning to become a monk, even if you are not planning to enter monkhood, you can still apply this same method to your day-to-day life. So you also have a Karuna Sasana wing and a Prajna Sasana wing. In the Karuna Sasana wing, you worship, you pay respects to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and you do good in whatever way you can, in a Arya way, especially in a Arya way, not in a Anarya way, because if you are doing it in an Anarya way, that is already there in the world. There are people who donate for charity. There are people who help others in other sasanas as well, or other who follow other dhammas, not the Buddha Dhamma, but other various kinds of religious beliefs. They also do that, and that is good. But it would not end their sansaric suffering. They would still be in the sansaric journey. But what we are doing, what we are referring to as Karuna Sasana is you should have that ultimate aim. You should have that ultimate goal of attaining Nibbana, ending this sansaric suffering, and you should know with wisdom what type of mindset you should have when doing those kinds of meritorious deeds. We have discussed this during the Arya Ashtangika Magga, or Aryo Attangiko Maggo. So we have discussed how Samma Sankappa becomes two. Some people refrain from having Kama Sankappana or Kama thoughts, or what do you call sensual thoughts. And they refrain from having then there's Kama Sankalpana, Vyapada Sankalpana, and Vihinsa Sankalpana. So they refrain from having hurting thoughts, and they refrain from having malicious thoughts or rageful thoughts. But their final aim is not Nibbana, because they have no idea about Nibbana. They know the Kamma, or they have the Kamma Sagata Sammaditthi. They know what is Kamma, how it affects their sansaric journey. They do not know anything about the cessation of the sansaric journey. Then what they do is they want to make the sansaric journey a better one. So they know when they have these sensual thoughts, then hurtful thoughts, then there's these malicious thoughts, they would end up in four hells. So since they know this fact as a fact, they refrain from doing those kinds of things so that they can go to higher realms, gods and brahmas. So their attachment is to deities, realms of deities and brahmas. So that is where they will end up. But that is also temporary, because if you create a power and energy, it would wear away. And when the energy or the power that maintains that state wears away, you would end up coming down again. So, but an Arya also would have this mindset. He also would refrain from having sensual or karma thoughts. So he also would stop having try to stop having hurtful thoughts, malicious thoughts. But why? Because when he knows about karma, how karma or sensual things become important to a person, when he knows about the anicca, dukkha, and anatta nature, the essenceless nature, pointless nature, then the fact that you cannot have these things according to your expectations, but it is a cause and effect thing that happens. Because of that, that is full of dukkha. When you understand this, you would not have karma thoughts, sensual thoughts, because the value for those sensual thoughts would start to reduce day by day. And you would not have hurtful thoughts. Why am I going to hurt somebody? There's nothing to gain from this. There's nothing valuable. There's nothing essential. This is essenceless, pointless, cannot, full of suffering. There's no point in having those kinds of hurtful, malicious thoughts. So that is the Samma Sankappa an Arya would have. That's the difference. And Anarya also would have that Sankalpa, but thoughts, but in a different way, with a different motive. But when it comes to an Arya, it's a totally different motive. So that is what we have to understand. So it is the same for thoughts, it's the same for words. When it comes to Samma Vacha, you refrain from lying, slandering, using harsh language, using meaningless words with the same pattern. And when it comes to Samma Kammanta, when it comes to bodily actions, again you would refrain from doing wrong things, hurting, killing, and stealing and taking people's things without their approval, robbing or stealing, we can say that is what is meant by that. Then there's having unethical relationships that hurt one party or both parties. So those are the immoral actions that you would not do, you refrain from. Again, a normal person would also refrain from doing those things with the intention of having a luxurious higher life as a higher being afraid of going to the four hells. But an Arya would stop doing those kinds of things because he does not find any meaning by doing those things, any value that can be achieved by doing those things. So that is the ajiva or the lifestyle that changes in an Arya person. So this applies to a monk and also to a person who is not going to enter monkhood, but still wants to become Arihat or to fulfill the Arya pathway. So Karuna Sasana. When you are doing the Karuna Sasana, you would refrain from doing these things, these wrong things. Instead, you would have this mindset of Alobha, Adesa, and Amo. So you would respect the people who should be respected, respect the individuals who should be respected by seeing their qualities, not the individual, but the qualities that are depicted in that individual. For example, if we are talking about Supreme Buddha, so it's not the individual person. Yes, we see the individual person, but we have seen him even before we understand this Dhamma. We have seen the pictures, the statues, and everything. We have seen him through our understanding as well. We had that understanding before, but we were able to understand or see the Supreme Buddha in really in actual context after understanding his philosophy or the Arya Dhamma. When after understanding Paticcasamuppada, after understanding the Four Noble Truths, after understanding this blissful pathway to Nibbana, then that is the time we actually saw Supreme Buddha, because it is not there were many people who saw Supreme Buddha before in his era when he was alive. At that time, people saw him walking on the streets, going for almsgivings, going for pindapata, but they could not. They never understood that it is a Supreme Buddha, because they have not seen him through the eyes of wisdom. They just saw him through their normal naked eye. That was just an individual for them, not a supreme person. So we have seen, if we have seen Dhamma, then we have seen the Supreme Buddha. So when we have seen him, we respect them. We respect those individuals, Supreme Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas, and disciples of Supreme Buddhas. By seeing their qualities, great qualities that they have achieved, that is how we see them. Then that respect becomes an important part, because if you respect somebody, then if you respect a quality, then that quality, you will achieve that quality, and you would get that background to achieve that quality. So we worship Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vichacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisadhamma Sarati Sattha Deva Manusanam Buddho and Bhagava qualities. And when we do that, and apart from that, we offer arms to the people who are following those qualities. We are offering the necessary background to the people who are following those qualities, and that is Karuna Sasana. And when it comes to a monk, this is Karuna Sasana. We are giving back what we understand. This is sharing wisdom, giving wisdom with alobha. An Arya would never confine this knowledge to himself without letting others know. But the metta thoughts that come to an Arya would be in such a way that she would not have any second thought in distributing this knowledge to all the sentient beings in the universe. Distribute this understanding. So that is Karuna Sasana. So this So we are practicing this Karuna Sasana because it is what, as we discussed, as we stated earlier, it is what creates the background for Prajna Sasana. Otherwise, if we lack in that section, we do not get the necessary background to practice the Prajna Sasana or Aryadham. There would be various kinds of disturbances, problems. You would not be able to stay in one place. You would be chased away from place to place, and you would not have good relationships with the um, with the fellow monks or fellow people who you are associating with. You would have problems in your, if you are referring to the normal life, if you would have problems with in your uh, workplaces, surroundings, and everything. So that would be hazardous to when you are practicing Aryadham. But if you get a perfect background, peace, independence that you need, the money, finances, and all the support that you need, when you are practicing Aryadhamma, that is an extra benefit, that is an extra help to understand this Aryadhamma, the deep concepts of Aryadhamma, because your mind is free now, not occupied very much, not busy, free and calm and quiet, so that you can practice Aryadhamma. So that is there for even for a normal person or for a monk. So we do that. We help. We do the punyanumodanas for others. And when you are pointing a finger at somebody, the other three fingers are pointed at you. When you are pointing your index finger, the middle finger, ring finger, and the little finger, all the three fingers are pointed at you. So when you are giving it back to them, what happens actually is you are receiving it in multiple times. So that is Karuna Sasana. It creates the background, so you would be able to understand Dhamma. And it actually increases the wisdom as well. It nourishes the wisdom. And don't think in a wrong way that this would stop all the karma, bad karma that is going to come chasing after you because you have done various kinds of bad things in the past. But it would reduce that bad karma, or the intensity or the amount of bad karma that are following, that are chasing after you, would be reduced when you are practicing Karuna Sasana. Otherwise, all the bad karma, negative karmic energy would come to you without any barriers. Karuna Sadhana is like putting a barrier to those. So it's a hindrance for the bad karma. It's a barrier to the bad karma. It would at least reduce the karmic flow to an extent, because you are not creating the background for that bad karma to cross its fence. So Karuna Sasana is very important in that sense. Now about the Prajna Sasana. Prajna Sasana is the core of Dhamma. We only able to practice Karuna Sasana also if we have an understanding about Tyare Dhamma, so the Prajna Sasana. So if you have any idea about Prajna Sasana, that would develop your Karuna Sasana as well. So this is the key. This is the key to all doors. So Prajna Sasana starts with opening the eyes of wisdom. And if you enter monkhood without the eyes of wisdom, still when you practice the Prajna Sasana and again Karuna Sasana, both, you would get that background and you would fulfill the lacking components that are needed to open your eyes of wisdom. When you know what is anicca, what is dukkha, what is anatta, then your eyes of wisdom are opened. When the eyes of wisdom are opened, then you follow the rest of the pathway or Arya Tangika Magga. That is a change of life, way of changing your lifestyle in a sense. Your actions, your thoughts, and your words, use of words, are changed in a way that it would reduce the raga, dvesha, and moha, and finally eliminate it fully with the developed wisdom. So when you are practicing as a monk, you start your day early in the morning. Now that is not done forcefully. When you are practicing meditation, especially jhana meditation, because Samma Samadhi has 4 types of Samadhi. Pratama Jhana, Dutiya Jhana, Tatiya Jhana, and Chatutta Jhana. First Dhyana, second Dhyana, third Dhyana, and fourth Dhyana. When you think about Nibbana, when you are practicing Satta Bojjhanga, when you are focusing on Dhamma Vijaya Bojjhanga, you are seeing the Anicca Dukkha Anatta nature and you are going deeper and deeper. This is the only thing that you have to know. Don't have to know very, very sophisticated things that are in the Abhidharma that explains this Chitta states, Chaitasika states. Those are not essential. Those are good to know things. What is essential is the understanding of Anicca Dukkha Anatta. And that is what is fulfilled by an Arihat. What he has apart from us is the complete understanding of Anicca Dukkha and Anatta. So when you do the Dhamma Vijaya, when you follow Anicca Dukkha and Anatta, that would develop Priti Sambojjhanga. You would feel very happy. You'd have very pleasurable thoughts. You'd rejoice that moment. And that is again with Virya Sambojjhanga. Without effort, you cannot do this. You have to put effort. You are thinking. You are focusing on the Anicca Dukkha Anatta. It is like doing math. When you are doing mathematics, again you have to put effort. When you are doing it, you have to think in a way that is like Dhamma Vijaya. And when the complete answer is achieved, you feel happy. You feel rejoice. Just like that, 3 Bojjhangas are being completed. When you do that, and when you do it based on Sila, you have to have this Sila. It goes as Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. You have to focus, you have to be very vigilant whether you are doing any unwholesome acts, any immoral deeds. You have to refrain from those. Without that, that is the basic pillar of the Nari discipline. You have to refrain from doing any 10 immoral actions or doing any of the 10 immoral actions. Of course, if you would become an arihat if you could do that 100% without any loopholes. But according to your knowledge, according to your understanding, at least you have to try to your best to refrain from the unwholesome acts that you find, that you detect. When you detect it, you have to stop it. That is the Arya Ashtanga Magga. So when you do that, and when you do the homework or the Dhamma Vichay, and that is three components of Dhamma Vichay along with Sati Sambojjhanga. Sati Sambojjhanga should last at all times. Then you have to change it to the other three. When you see the anicca, dukkha, and anatta nature of the world, of everything, of the external things, of your body and mind, everything, then you would get detached from those attachments that you have in your life, at least for that moment. Getting rid of all those attachments would make your mind very calm and quiet. Passaddhi, or the soothing, calm nature because of non-attachment, because of it is like floating like sensation that comes in your mind. Even it is seen, it can be experienced in your body after you have done it for a long time. Uh, for some people it takes long time, but some it only takes few days, few months to achieve. So that is passaddhi. And you would find that detached, non-attached, peaceful, calm nature, very, very good, and you would want to, and you would continue that state. That is samadhi. And you would not even attach to that state. You would find that is also anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and a part of the world. So these bojjhangas would create that arya dhyanas, arya jhana. So when arya dhyanas are achieved, your amount of sleep that is needed, the sleepiness that comes and goes during uh, during the daytime and during the day at several times, would starts to reduce. The amount of sleep that is needed at night also would reduce. You would be able to wake up early in the morning. This is not with great effort. This is because when the causes are being aligned, you don't have to do anything other than that to get the result. Your expectation, what you expect, is not a cause for the effects that are being created, but it is a cause for the suffering. That is why attachment is a cause of suffering. So we don't do that. Instead, we create the causes. We start slowly, we start slowly but perfectly by focusing on the meditation, developing the Arya Samadhi. When the Arya Samadhi is developed, you would be able to wake up early in the morning and think about the senseless, pointless nature of this world. And after that, after doing that for whatever the time you can, initially it would be a very small time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but it would develop. You would be able to do it for longer time periods. And after some time, after that, depending on the place that you are in, you have to always obey to the rules of the place, and you have to always obey to the decisions and to the um, important points that are bring out by your senior fellow monks, because without this hierarchy there's no monkhood, there's nothing. Because if we are doing whatever we please, whatever we like, in whenever the time we want, then this there would be chaos when everyone does that depending on their viewpoints. And since the ones who are coming to the sasana at the beginning has no experience as a monk, is just like a newborn baby who even doesn't know how to walk. So you have to listen to the people who have walked that pathway for at least few hours more than you. So think, you are not going to blindly accept everything that is being said, but you have to give the benefit of the doubt to them. And when you understand that it is the truth, you have to always follow that path. Because if they are Aryas, if they are following the same pathway that you are following, they would not do anything harmful to another fellow Arya that is following the Arya pathway. And the other one is, we are not focusing on our own agenda. In fact, what we are trying to do as an Arya is to get rid of our own agenda, because we have understood that there's nothing good comes out of our own agendas. For example, I'll explain this with an analogy. So there's this football in the middle of the field. There are two teams who are trying to score goals. And you know how the football works. So this ball just lies on the ground because it has to lie somewhere. But when one of the team members of one side kicks the ball, it just obeys the command and it moves and stops when the energy is gone. It obeys what the team members say. And it does not have any attachment to one of the parties. It is not attached to team A or team B. Because of that, when the team B asks not this way but that way and kicks the ball to the other side, it just goes that way without any conflict, without any rage. So, this is what you need to understand. If you are becoming a monk, it is very important. You have to have no plans for yourself, because there's nothing more relaxing than to have no plans. So you are just obeying the orders, or you are just obeying the orders of your body, or you are obeying the orders of your elder monks or the people around you. Of course, if they are reasonable, you are not going to kill people if they order you. Not like that. But the good things, most of the time, what happens when people enter monkhood is they just have their own opinions, act upon their own opinions, and most of the time, these opinions come based on avidya. And because these opinions come because of raga, because of dvesa, and because of moha, And with the wrong perception of avidya, which is nature, you would act upon doing these things with the idea that you can control according to your expectation. You are trying to control these things. Your expectation is there, and you try to control these things according to your expectation. And because of that, when the things don't go as they are as planned, there are conflicts, there are problems that arise, and that is not good. But when you don't have any plans for yourself, plans of raga, dvesha, moha, especially, you have this plan to attain nibbana. That is getting rid of all the plans you have. You don't have any plan. So when somebody asks, sweep the floor, no problem. That is not a bad thing. You have the basic idea of Arya Dhamma. You go for it. If there's anumodana that is needed to be done, then you do it without any conflict or without any rage. Because if you know the Arya Dhamma, these things come to you as a vipaka. When the eyes and images meet, that is a vipaka. When the ears and sounds meet, that is a vipaka. And the list goes on until mind and thoughts. So internal organs and external organs meet as a vipaka. When you hear that you have to do a specific kind of thing, that is the vipaka that you are going to that is coming towards you. So kamma vipaka vattanti vipako kamma sambhava. So if you are not going to accept that vipaka, you would be acting with, because you think that you can, your expectation is one thing and the vipaka is another. Now you want to change it. You think that you can do it according to expectation. And when you try to do that, you are doing it with most of the time raga, dvesha, moha, creating more karma. And the karmic cycle continues. And when you don't do that, when you refrain from doing that and accept the vipaka, so you become the servant. You become the servant of your body, and you become the servant of everyone who is around. But you don't become the servant of your expectations. That is the thing. When you do that, you are just like water, getting the shape of the bowl or the container that it is in. You become the drop of water on a lotus leaf, not attached, just moving, just like a ball of mercury moving on a surface. Not attached. It is there because it has to stay somewhere. You become the football that is not attached to the ground, that is not loyal to any of the parties who are playing the game. So it would be very easy. Our journey would be very easy, very peaceful. No attacks, no conflicts. Even if somebody scolds you, somebody says something in a blaming nature, still you would not be having any problem, because your expectation was not to listen to any praises from other people. So if you are expecting praising words, praising good, kind words from other people, then you would be upset when the opposite type of words comes to your ear. So when you don't have those expectations, it would be very easy as a monk, even as a normal individual, as a upasaka and upasika. So when you if we refer back to the day, so when we do that meditation, but I am referring to actually my day most of the time, my experiences, but based on the indriya levels, differentiation of indriya organ strengths. Different individuals would have different daily routines. Because of that, you should not stick onto this daily routine. What you should get is the basic fundamentals or fundamental things, the important points that are being discussed here. The thing about how to live your day and the principles that principles are the things that are important when you are building up your daily plan. You should not get a template from somebody else and try to act upon that, because it would never suit you, because you are a different individual. So that's why I am trying to base this discussion on the principles, not the daily routine. But I'll give you examples so that it would be easier for you to understand. So after that, then there would be, as I said before, there are various institutions, and depending on the institution, the 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 plan would be different. So you have to stick on to that plan, and you have to be neutral with that plan. You should not become get conflicted, get a conflicting mindset about the things that are being done, because you cannot change the place or you cannot change the world. What you can do is you can change yourself so that you can fit into anything, any area, any background without raga dvesha moha. That's what an arya would do. That's what an arihat would do. So again, you have the morning alms giving, you have then the lunch, alms for lunch. But if you are in a rural area, you would go for pindapata once a day in the morning, and again back to the arya arya practice. So that is, again, you can go with meditation, or you can refer to any Dhamma discussions or Dhamma desana, Dhamma sermons that are being recorded, or you can have a Dhamma discussion with your fellow monks. You should not have a fixed schedule, because that is having that is like if you do it with avidya, you can have a rough schedule, but you should always understand that it cannot be, it is not going to come true all the time. So you couldn't, if you get attached to that, that would create suffering. So you cannot get attached. With the attachment, with avidya, you cannot create a schedule or a timetable for your day, because it would create problems. When the time you cannot stick to the timetable, it would create conflicts in your mind, it would create anger, rage, and the thing that that made that impossible, the timetable impossible, would be seen as something bad, or seen, the person who did that would be seen as the enemy. So that is the nature of avidya. So you should not do that, but you can have a timetable, have have a way of planning, and have a way that and plan your day, but you shouldn't always do it with wisdom not with avidya, knowing that this is just a reminder that I'm going to have so that my things are organized. Other than that, this is not going to be fixed, or not, I am not going to get attached to this, because attachment would create the problem of raga, dvesha, and moha. You would try to stick on to that, that is raga. When the things go wrong, you develop dvesha, and you already created the timetable with moha. So raga, dvesha, moha. No raga, dvesha, moha when you are doing when you are following Arya practice. Try to minimize, try to reduce raga, dvesha, moha. So you do that. So if you should, like, you are today, I feel like doing a having a discussion with somebody. Today I feel like listening to a dhamma sermon. Today I feel like, now I feel like meditating, because the environment background is so good for that. Then just don't stick to your so-called timetable. It is not uh, hard, and or it's not a very you are not going to stick to it no matter what. That is not something like that. You just can change. This is very free. Our pathway is very free. There are things that you cannot change, like you have to always stick to the things that are that are the rules of the institutions. But other than that, when it comes to your mind, your actions, that is free. Free in the sense, you are not free to go after raga, dvesha, moha. But when you are playing in the field of Arya or Supreme Buddha, that is the Satara Satipatthana, Chattaro Satipatthana, you are free. If you feel like walking and meditating, you can do that. If you feel like being in the meditating posture, then change to that. No problem. If you feel like standing, you do that. But you never change one thing. You never change the satipatthana. You never change the meditation. You never change uh, or detect mind focused on the detection of raga, dvesha, moha. When you detect, you have to eliminate. So that is the RA practice, and this is how a day goes. It is very easy. There's no plan. No plan is the plan. Just some basic principles. And based on your indriya levels, you would develop some kind of a rough plan for your day. It is not what you developed, but it is that got developed through experience. And it would change. It would change every few months, every few weeks, and you would not even know that it changed. It's changed because if you are focusing on wisdom, if you are focusing on developing this, somehow getting rid of raga, dvesha, moha, it would, depending on your understanding, depending on your decisions that you make based on wisdom, your day would change. Your practice of thinking or thinking practices would change. You would detect new defilements in your system, and you would plan plan differently, of course with wisdom, and try to eliminate those things. And this is war, and this is not like a simple war. This is a war that you play, that you do 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, until all the raga, dvesha, and moha are eliminated. But of course, things go wrong. Sometimes you caught get caught in avidya, and you don't know when that happened, and things go very badly in some situations. In those things, in make those things a lesson for your pathway. Those are the experiences that you get. Based on the experiences, build upon that and try to be better and try to be more vigilant about those faults that you have on an individual basis. You have to know your faults. What are the strong ones? What are the weak ones? What are the important faults that you have to focus on? What are the not so important ones that you have to focus on? And know those things. And with experience only, you would be able to know those things. When you know, when you fall down, rise up again with more and experience. And when you do that, if you are if you are uh, if you are focused and if you are determined, this is not a very hard task to do. What you should understand is this is a change in your lifestyle, change in your thinking, in your use of words, in your actions. And that change is sila that would create the samadhi, and samadhi would do the rest. So our expectation, what we expect, this should go this way, this should then go that way, is not what creates the end result, but the causes. Causes, when the causes are being aligned, then the effect would be the result. In this case, yeah, we want to get rid of the effect. So we are creating causes so that other causes that creates the effect are eliminated. When the causes are being created to eliminate the causes that creates effects, at the end, all the causes that creates effects are gone. And especially if you if we more if we elaborate on it, especially the effects or causes that creates raga as an effect, dvesha and moha as effects would be eliminated with other causes that eliminates the causes that creates raga, dvesha, moha as effects. So that is our plan. Hope you understand. You are clear with the practice we are focusing as a monk. And if you have any questions, you can post them on the chat box so that we can discuss. We have a question. Yeah. I thought Karuna was just compassion, but then I realized it was a state of mind based on the understanding of Arya Dhamma. As a sadhu, I'll bring my mind to a deeper wisdom. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhakti. Okay. So, yeah, the compassion is also a part of that, but it is the mindset that comes. So, Karuna Sasana is actually starts with metta, Arya metta. When you become an Arya, then only you would be able you know about nibbana. Without the Arya practice, your Arya understanding, you don't know about nibbana. When you know about nibbana, then you get this very compassionate feeling in your mind that I should not be the only person who knows this thing. In fact, all the sentient beings in the universe should know this truth and get rid of all the defilements or all the raga, dvesha, moha and eliminate the sansaric journey. Should get rid of all the ignorance they have, because ignorance is what betrays them. And they do all sorts of bad, unethical, immoral, unwholesome acts because of this ignorance. Ignorance is betraying them. I should tell them. I should tell them that this ignorance, you should get rid of this ignorance so that you'd be free. Would be the idea, would be the thought that comes to an Aryan. Based on that, the Karuna Sasana would develop. So that is Karuna Sasana. And Karuna Sasana is very important because actually what we are doing is we are doing for them, but actually we are doing it for ourselves as well. That is why I point this finger and gave this example where when you point a finger at somebody, 3 fingers are pointed at you. So it is coming towards you, not towards them. Yes, they are getting benefited. It's a win-win situation, and the one who wins more is the one who gives. So yeah, I hope that is clear.
Pero, maybe as a question until while requesting first and foremost the participants to ask any further questions to better understand either the Karuna Sasana, because maybe what we're used to as Karuna in its basic form might be further expanded when we use the word Karuna Sasana. And thank you very much for Thero for taking that approach to explain using the lifestyle or the how a day would flow of a bhikkhu, but giving us both insights as well as to look at our own selves with it. While others may be requesting you to put forward any questions, maybe Thero, we can add in or rather ask a question. When we even do these meritorious deeds, we do the Punya Anumodana. Some of those who are here may have been part of that as well. That is also part of this Karuna Sasana, correct, Thero, where while helping others to get out of where they may be, but it is helping us to get out of our own on this journey. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit, if possible, on that part also, since some of them have now participated for multiple, and that might help them further in their how to keep their thoughts or anything of that nature.
Yes, sure. So when it comes to Punya Anumodana, so what we are doing is we are now any Punya Kriya or any meritorious deed, it is not the offering. This is a very important principle in our discipline, in actually in the reality of the world. We are not actually it is not the materialistic thing or the physical object that is being offered that creates the meritorious power. It is the mindset. What are the 3 or 4 basic things that actually creates the power, meritorious power? One is somanasa chitta. That means the mindset or the pleased mindset, happy mindset. The other one is the wisdom that comes with the offering. That means the thought, why you are doing it. The cause and effect theory. When you know it, you know why you are doing it. How the causes and effects are being generated. If you have another understanding about that, you have a good wisdom of why you are doing it. And the third one is the receiving the Arya qualities, or actually the qualities, good or bad, qualities of the receiving party. We are referring to alms giving here. So if the receiving party is an Arihat Buddha, so Samma Sambuddha, that is the highest you can get. Again, Samma Sambuddha with his disciples are more than just a Samma Sambuddha, but as an individual person, that is the highest you can get, a Samma Sambuddha. Then comes a Pacceka Buddha. Then comes a Arihat Buddha. Then comes a Anagami. then comes a Sakadagami, then comes a Sotapanna, then comes a virtuous individual, a good virtuous individual. Then comes a non-virtuous individual, a human, still a human, doing very bad things, maybe killing, hurting, but still a human, still a person, it is still a being better than animals. Then comes animals. So this is the hierarchy. So those are that is one of the factors that increases the meritorious power. So the other one is the wisdom. Why you are doing it? If you have seen a great quality and you are offering it to a great quality, now when you are doing the offerings, we have done few of them with some of the ones here who are participating in the discussion. So when we are offering alms to monks, what we did was we actually remembered all the qualities, Vitaragi, Vitadosi, and Vitamohi qualities. So qualities like Supatipanna, Vijupatipanna, those are the 9 great qualities of Sangha. And the great qualities, you can, if you know the great qualities, based on your understanding, maybe the understanding is in a level that where you know these monks are very virtuous. It can be in the level that you know these monks have understood the reality of the world. They are trying to get rid of all the defilements in their minds, raga, dvesha, and moha. And they have seen Dhamma. And they are disciples of Supreme Buddha who understood this Arya, or who understood the reality of the world. Based on whatever the understanding you have, depending on that wisdom, you get that thought. And when the wisdom is higher, the pleasure or the happiness that comes to your mind becomes higher. So these are the 3 things, 3 or 4 basic things that increases the meritorious power that one would receive when they are doing meritorious deeds. So what I wanted to highlight here is, actually it is not the mind, it is not the physical thing. I'll give you a few examples here. One of the biggest alms givings of all time, actually it is the biggest alms giving of all times in this Buddha Sasana, that is Asadhusadana. If you have heard about it, it was conducted by Mallika, the Queen Mallika, with the help of King, his name was Kosala, King Kosala, and king of this Kosala kingdom. They conducted a great alms giving where 500 tuskers, each tusker for each Arihat Thero, and including Supreme Buddha, was there for the procession that that led to this alms giving. So everything was offered without any shortcoming. Everything in great detail, great luxurious items were offered, and there was no other alms giving like that during this Buddha Sasana. But so that is the highest you can go with materialistic things when it comes to alms giving. But there was one alms giving that was done by a very poor person. If I tell you the story, he was just a person of a lower caste. This caste system was a very big thing during that era, and the other people of that village has gone on a trip or gone somewhere. Whole village has gone, And this person was the only one who is in the village, and they have given him 7 rotis. If you know what a roti means, it is something made of flour. And this one roti for each day, 7 rotis for 7 days. And on the last day, he had this roti for the last day, but he was planning to take that roti on the last day. He has finished 6 rotis already, and Supreme Buddha was coming towards that place. Supreme Buddha went because he knew that this would happen, because of the kindness, because of the karuna he had. So this person thought, I am a person of low caste. I have no comfort. I have no luxuries. I have no happiness in my life. All because I have not done meritorious deeds in the past. So I have got this great opportunity where I can offer these alms, offer this roti to Supreme Buddha and get rid of that shortcoming. At least in the next lives, I would be able to become a better person. So thinking that, but there's a big problem. He's a person of low caste. In if you compare, Supreme Buddha is of higher caste, Kshatriya. That is the second, or the individuals that rules the land are Kshatriya. This caste is the last one, Shudra, people who are like the dust. Now, if people from a lower caste at least go near a people of a higher caste, then that is offensible with death punishment. So he could be killed if somebody saw that he went near Supreme Buddha, saying, you are not allowed to go near a person of higher caste. But he thought, it's okay. There's nothing to lose here. I would do it anyway. And went and offered it. And he just didn't even look at Supreme Buddha's face, just was looking downwards and went there, just offered it, even did not pay his respect, or he did not even worship. He just ran because maybe others would see him and maybe they would beat him to death. So after that offering was done, Supreme Buddha asks Anandathero whether, what do you think about that person's alms giving? Anandathero says it was just a very not well planned, not very elegant alms giving. He doesn't even look at the face. He does not even worship. He just ran away and he just offered a roti. And what do you think? The question of Supreme Buddha was, what do you think about the Asadusa dana and this dana? So Anandathero's reply was, and this dana was like that, but the Asadusa dana was the biggest that we have seen. It is the biggest dana, alms giving, that of all time. And how can we compare the two? This one is very small, but that is materialistically. But when it comes to meritorious power, Supreme Buddha says even Asadusa dana comes in second place if you compare it with this dana, this alms giving, because it is not the materialistic things. This person just lost his hope on life while offering this dana. So he offered his life as well while offering this dana. And it is all the wealth he had for to do the Asadusa dana. King Kosala only spent 1/10 of his wealth, but this man spent all his wealth, all the food he had. That is all the wealth he owned in this life. So he offered everything and offered his life as well and was clean. And because of that, this person's almsgiving overtakes or is more powerful than even the biggest dana that was there in this Buddha Sasana. So I explained this because it is a very important concept that you have to know when you are doing the Anumodana. Because it is not the materialistic things that creates the background. Of course it helps. If you don't do the materialistic offering, you would not be able to create that chitta, that mindset. So if you do it in a more elegant way, you would be able to develop more happy, pleasurable, pleasure thoughts. And with the more wisdom you have, the greatest quality should be worshipped in a greatest way, in the most elegant way, would be of more wisdom. But that can be done if you have that much of wealth, that much of materialistic things. But that does not matter. Even if you have a very small thing to offer, you still can do the most or the biggest meritorious deed of your life. If you can, if you know, or if you have the wisdom, and if you are able to do that, create that chitta or the mind. So what we are doing with Anumodana is we are offering it physically, but we are giving them the uh, permission, or we are giving them the other ones who cannot come, who has no arms, legs like us. That means they have them, but in a finer level, not condensed like us. So they cannot prepare food and offer it to a bhikkhu sangha. So, or do any kind of meritorious deed, even cannot um, have their or offer it with their own physical hands, because their physicality is actually finer than us. And these people, these individuals, these sentient beings, we give them the permission so that they can create this chitta and create meritorious power like they are doing it by themselves. So we are offering them the facilities for that. We are doing another offering here. We are offering to Supreme Triple Gems, as well as we are facilitating others to do it. So we are being allowed at that point as well. We are generating more merits because we are doing it for them as well, helping them as well. So we have deceased relations, fathers, mothers, and other relations who have helped us, and they have done so much for us sometimes, and we are indebted to them. And this is a good way of paying those debts to them. We are indebted to them, some of them. Some people have done various good things for us, not even in this life, maybe in this life, maybe in other lives, maybe in both. So those people get a great opportunity because they have a person in this physical realm who can do it for them. We are like an ambassador for them. We are like a person who creates the link, because without a link, they cannot be happy. It is not like some stranger is um, doing an offering and asking everybody else to come, because they don't find, because they don't have a depth towards you, because they don't have a connection with you, they do not become happy that much. They can become happy, but if I'll give you an example like this. If uh, as a child, if you tell your parent, or give a happy birthday present for your parent, one of the parents, they would be more happier than receiving it from a total stranger. You go to the McDonald's or Pizza Hut, and they somehow and identifies you as a uh, birthday person and brings you a cake, and you would be happy that they did that for you. But they were total strangers. But what if your family members pull out a surprise party for you? That would be more happy. You would be more happier then, because you find those people dearest. When we do a alms giving or whatever, and we refer those names of our deceased ones, loved ones in the past, they think that exactly in the way, or that when the birthday cake was given, they find it very they find that moment a very happy occasion, because they are doing the relations of them are doing it for them. So they would be more happier. It would be a place that they can be more happier. Not that they can be happy on other occasions, but this is a very rare and very important opportunity, because if they have debts towards you, because you are indebted to them, that would create that pathway as well. The debts are being paid. When the debts are being paid, you get this. You create more causes for you to get exit, or to exit from the sansaric journey. Because when more and more ties are broken that binds you to the sansaric journey, it would be more easier for you to get rid of the sansaric journey. It's like when you have debts. If you have debts to all the many people in the country, and what you are trying to do is you are trying to get a plane ticket, and you are trying to get rid of those people and go to another land and start a new life. That is what is seen. That is something like that is seen by the people who are in debts. When you practice Arya Dhamma, they would think that this person is trying to exit this sansari journey without paying me my debts, and they are not going to do that. They are not going to allow you to do that peacefully, and there would be problems. And that's why we do the punya anumodana, and we understand that we have done good things and we have done bad things, and because of our bad things, there are sentient beings that are being uh, that are harmed and hurted by us, and we accept our faults, and we seek forgiveness from them, and we give this meritorious power as a compensation for the things we have done, and we are asking them to be uh, be uh, to get rid of all the sins. That is very important. Get rid of all the sinful acts, and replace those sinful acts with meritorious deeds, and ultimately attain nibbana with all the uh, background get that is uh, that is possible with this meritorious power. So those are the ones who got uh, harmed and hurted. But there are people who helped us. We remind them as well. We do the also we offer or we transfer these meritorious deeds to them as well. By the meaning transferring, but actually it is not the purest meaning, because what we do is we are allowing them the opportunity to be happy. And when they become happy, it is actually like a transferring, but it is actually them who develops that power. That is why it is called anumodana. Anumodana, if you get the etymology of the word, anumodana means anuva odana. Anuva means uh, then in that way is anuva. Modana means washing. So we offer them the water, and they are washing themselves with that water. Is the It is actually a analogy in that word, anuva odana. That means we are offering them the water, they are cleaning themselves with that water. So they are doing it by themselves. There's a way of transferring as well. And we do that. When we transfer them, it is most of the time, if they are in places where they cannot do an anumodana, where they cannot be happy after seeing this, especially if they are in animal kingdom. Let's say our relation has become a dog. Now they cannot see this offering. They cannot be happy about this offering. So we transfer it to them. And that meritorious power goes and um, goes towards that person or that animal, that dog. And that dog's life would become a little bit better. For example, if he is a stray dog, somebody going that way would feel like this dog is cute. I should take this dog or puppy to my house uh, and make it my pet. That chitta came to that mind as a vipaka. So because of the vipaka of that individual who thought it, as well as the vipaka of the puppy. So since we changed the uh, karmic dynamics or karmic environment of that puppy by transferring this energy, that puppy's life might become better. That this is just an example, and you have to always know that sometimes this works, sometimes this karma vishaya or karmic subject of karma is very complex. Only a Supreme Buddha can understand it fully. Even Sariputta cannot understand it 100%. So it can change in various different ways. But this is why we do the Punyanumodana. This is the basis behind Punyanumodana, and it always does some good to at least some of the sentient beings in the universe. Maybe our dearest ones might not be able to get that energy, but we had those kinds of dearest ones in each and every life we had during the sansaric journey. At least at least not one, millions and billions of them would be benefited with the Punyanumodana. So that is the importance of Punyanumodana, and the important part to the Karuna Sasana or Prajna Sasana is when you do that in the Karuna Sasana, all the ties that binds you to the sansaric suffering would be released, and you would be able to practice Karuna Prajna Sasana with more comfort, more ease. You don't have various disturbances from unseen spirits, unseen worlds, because most of the time it is the unseen ones who change our mindsets into um, not focus on our rhythm, not be determined about ending this our journey. So they give negative thoughts to us. They can do that. There's a mechanism of doing that most of the time. Even if they are in this world, our thoughts, some of the thoughts are given or entered to our mind by those kinds of um, unseen spirits. So we don't know this. It is, we are not able to. This is for all the people in the world. We don't know this, but that happens, and that is most of the time done by the people who are nearest to us, who were nearest to us, good ones and bad ones, both. So I hope that explains the, what you asked.
Thank you very much, Theo. I thought it might be good to include that into the discussion as well. Theo, we have from our usual 2 hours, we have at least another 15 minutes or so. Maybe we can invite those who are here to ask anything, not maybe this, but in anything that they would like to get a clarification on what maybe Theo discussed or referred to earlier. Maybe we'll give you a minute or two to post any of those questions and take it from there.
I'll give you a small advice at this point. So it is not an advice, just a reminder actually, about how we should practice this RA pathway. So should more focus more on the practical aspect. Now I have been saying this most of the time during most of the discussions, but try to focus on the practical aspect. Try to see anicca dukkha anatta. If you don't understand what anicca means actually, how anicca, the meaning of anicca, the udayavya, the quality. So you have to know about udaya and you have to know about where. So you have to know how causes are being created because of effects. For example, I'll give you an example, Vedana. So you feel like when you get a Vedana, it can be a blissful Vedana, it can be a neutral Vedana, it can be a suffering Vedana. But when you get a Vedana, you feel, with that feeling, if you have avidya with the Vedana, you feel like I am the one who experienced this Vedana. In a way, that is correct. It is not somebody else, it is you. But that is symbolically. But what you get with that feeling, I am the one who experienced this feeling, but what is underneath that statement is I am able to experience it according to my expectation or according to my wanting. So I wanted this Vedana. That is why I experienced it. If I did not want this Vedana, I might not have experienced it. So it is in 100% of, um, in my ability to control it. That is what you would have, at least right now also, when you are experiencing a Vedana, when you are eating a chocolate cake maybe, when you get the Vedana, when that chocolate cake touches your tongue, touches your mouth, that is what you feel. You could have done it. You could not, if you wanted, you could have not done it. It is in your total ability to control according to your wanting, would be your understanding. But you have to put that, you have to think this through with wisdom. You have to understand the causes and effects. What is actually creating Vedana? Not the wanting, not the expectation, but the touch. Touch is the only reason, or the touch is the um, cause that creates this effect known as Vedana. If it is a neutral touch, of course that would be neutral Vedana. There's no way that that can change. If it is um, blissful Vedana or blissful touch, it would always be blissful Vedana. If it is a suffering touch, then the Vedana would be suffering. So you have to think, don't try to think the whole cycle, because Tanha is created at that point, at that level. If you remember, since you read Pali, it says that Tanha is created at that point, at that place, and should be eliminated at that point, at that place. So with that understanding, you have to see the anicca nature. If you get attached to the Vedana at the Vedana level, you have to understand that Vedana is not a nicha thing. You cannot control it according to your wanting. Your wanting is to experience blissful sensation. That is why you try to eat this chocolate cake, but it is a fake cake. It is not made of real ingredients. Instead, they have created it to prank you. So it is not tasty or delicious. Instead, it has a very unpleasant taste. So your wanting is one thing, but you get the Vedana, and Vedana is something else. Now you get disappointed. The disappointment is the result of thinking nature is real. It is actually anicca. So if you go through the causes and effects, what is the cause? So unpleasant touch is what you're going to get with that cake. Your wanting is to experience a delicious piece of cake, but what you're experiencing actually, or what you're touching with your tongue, is actually something unpleasant. So the feeling would be unpleasant. So put anicca at that point. Don't think it through and through. Just try to. It would be very easier for you to understand this way. If it is about sankhara, you feel like sankhara is done by you. You had the ability. Now I am talking. Now when I am talking, I am creating sankhara, vachi sankhara. When this vachi sankhara, if I have this idea that I am the one, I have the ability. Oh, in other words, if I say it correctly, I could have not done this if I wanted to. I'm doing this because I want it. It's the wanting that, now this is very important. It's the wanting that makes me talk or create these actions, vachi sankara. It is actually thinking in the nature, the concept of nature. But when you think about it with wisdom, it is avidya or kusala mula that creates this sankara. So based on kusala mula or based on avidya, if it is avidya, you create it with the feeling that you are doing it by yourself. If it is kusala mula, you are doing it. You do it, but you don't have that feeling that you are you are doing because of this wanting. You understand that wanting is one thing, and this is actually causes getting aligned together to create an effect. So sankara. So to make this simple, think about when you breathe. When you think about it, when you focus on breathing, and when you do it forcefully, and when you take it to your hands, you do it with your effort, with your, you think that you are in control, but you can do it, but that happens automatically even without your control. Just like that, when the avidya pachaya sankhara is, all of it, that is gone, still this body and mind would work with kusala mula pachaya sankhara. The only difference is you don't have this understanding, or the wrong understanding, that this can be controlled according to your expectation or wanting. That would be gone. Instead, things would be done with kusala mula, or with the idea that this is anicca, dukkha, anatta, and asubha. So the necessary things would be done based on that. So if you become hungry, then you are having a meal, you are having food, not because you think that this can be controlled according to your expectation, but with the understanding that creation of causes can lead to results, not will lead to results, but not the expectation. So if you create the causes, if causes are being aligned together, then the effect would be, it would be inevitable. It would come. But since expectation is not one of those effects, causes that creates this effect, you would get disappointed when the effect when the effect is not created at the end. So this is very hard to explain when it comes to English language, because anicca is what you have to understand with anicca is the feeling of anicca, not the words. We have to understand that this world is not not in our grasp. So you try to grasp this world and try to maintain it according to your according to your imagination or expectation or wanting. You try to grasp it. But this grasping or this attachment itself becomes a problem, because instead of happiness, you are trying to grasp and control this, because you think that it would be it would create happiness for you. But in reality, what it creates is suffering. That's why we call dukkha samudaya jnana the attachment, or the reason for suffering is attachment. So that is this area of understanding is most important in our practice, and you have to put it into your day-to-day practice as well. When you do that, focus on raga, dvesha, moha, and try to get rid of and try to arrange your actions, words, and thoughts in such a way that raga, dvesha, and moha are reduced. You are not forcing it, or you are not hiding it. It should go away when you see the reality. That is the whole point. You are not this is not happening because you want it, not because of your wanting, not because of your expectation. Your expectation is to get rid of raga, dvesha, moha, but expectation would not do anything. Or what you do is you should create the causes. Otherwise, when you expect and when you try to do it forcefully, somehow I am going to get rid of raga, dvesha, moha. Now you are in nitya sukhatma sukha instead of anicca dukkha anatta. But when you see the anicca dukkha anatta, the value of whatever you found dearest would reduce, and you would see, and the essenceless nature would be prominent, pointless nature, suffering nature would be prominent, and that itself would detach, get you detached from that object you find dearest. So the raga would stop then and there without effort. Only you have to put effort to see the Dhamma. Others would be happening. Rest would be happening. Dvesha is the same for dvesha. Dvesha is because something you don't like happens. So you like something. That's why you don't like the opposite. So you have to find what you like. You like praising, so you don't like blames. So get rid of the value that you have given to the praisings. Good kind thoughts, good praising words from others are enjoyed and uh, are expected from others. But the expectation is not what you receive. So when that happens, you become angry or you become sad. When that is the problem, you don't try to push the sadness downwards and try to be brave, try to be normal. That is trying to make the world nitya sukhatma sukha again. Try to try to try to grasp it and control it with your efforts. But what you should do is you have to see why you become sad is because you expect those people to say praising words towards you. So you get rid of the value that you have given towards praising words. You see the problem. You become a person that is applicable, or the sadness or the pain is applicable for you, because you have created the causes, because you are expecting those people to say praises or praising words, Now you are applicable, or you are you have to see, you have to fear this dukkam bhayattena. You have to see this dukkha, see this as dukkha with the element of fear. You have to fear it because now you have created the cause for suffering. When somebody blames, you definitely become sad and you would be depressed. When nobody is blaming, it is not saying that you are free from suffering, because you have already created the causes for suffering. When the other causes, the missing causes align, suffering would be impossible to stop. So what you should do is you should get rid of this valuable value that is given to the praising words. So when that happens, when one side is gone, the other side would always go, or would be removed. So when there's no value for praises, when you have this idea, I didn't do it for praising words. I didn't do it for praises from other people. I did it because it is the right thing to do. When the people blame at you, you don't have a problem because you did not expect them to say good things. Or you did not expect them to say bad things. You did not expect either of them. So when the people say praising words, you don't become happy as well. Just see them as normal words. When somebody blames, it's the same way. So you have become neutral for praises or blames. So get this example and try to work on raga and dvesha and moha that comes along with it. Because raga started because of moha. If there was no moha, there's no raga. Dvesha also is like that. Without dvesha, there's no moha. So since moha is hard to catch because it is the problem, moha itself is covering the wisdom. So wisdom cannot uncover moha directly if you don't have a great samadhi. So that is why up until anagami level, you have to get rid of abhijja and domanassa. So you have to get rid of raga and dvesha. And moha, that is aligning with raga and aligning with dvesha, would always be gone when raga goes with wisdom, with and dvesha is eliminated with wisdom. So that is a small um, reminder for you to focus on mainly on uh, the understanding and the pathway, especially about the day-to-day life, because this is always I had emphasized that this is a practical experience, or this is a practical activity, or a uh, you have a uh, practical part in this. Without applying this to your day-to-day life and practicing it fully, uh, just listening would not get you to that ultimate bliss. So yes, you'd fulfill the understanding, complete the understanding, but opening the eyes of wisdom is not the end, it's just the beginning. So the rest of the pathway has a practical aspect, where you have to practice what you have learned, you have understood. So so focus on that as well when day-to-day things are being done.
Thank you very much, Thero, for that explanation and words of advice. Since we have not received any questions thus far and we are just passing the 2 hours, Thero, shall we, unless there is a question, shall we end with a short Anumodana?
Yes, sure.
Uh,
So So today we have discussed especially on the lifestyle that we have to follow when we are practicing Arya Dhamma, and we mainly focused on a monk, life of a monk, but this can be applied to normal life as well. And there are mostly we discussed on the basic principles of how we should act upon when we are practicing Arya Dhamma in our day-to-day lives. So, and at the end, we discussed about the very core concepts of Dhamma, and this is what builds this Dhamma, and that is what we need to understand, focus on, and we will on next sessions we would more focus more on Paticcasamuppada and especially different types of Paticcasamuppada, and again the how the idea of self, this is where idea of self and idea of uh, the ownership comes with the Paticcasamuppada, and these are very fine and deep concepts that are very hard to be explained in English, but we'll try somehow with illustrations to explain these concepts to you. And today's understanding, today's efforts, we have generated immeasurable merits, immeasurable amounts of meritorious power, and with those meritorious power, all the hindrances, barriers, and obstacles that might cover up your Nibbana pathway may get eliminated, and all the background that is needed for you to complete this Arya pathway may occur, and may all of you be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana with ease and comfort. Accept this blessing with sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And again, we'll transfer, as we discussed before, this we'll transfer this meritorious power to all the sentient beings in the universe, especially our deceased relations, the people who helped us during the samsaric journey, teachers, parents, people who gave us jobs, people who showed us the right pathway when we are in wrong, people who constructed our houses, workplaces, and people who helped us in various ways. And also the people who created these Zoom meetings possible, who are behind the scene, who constructed these temples, and who are maintaining this infrastructure, and who are paying for these internet connections and devices and everything. And also the people who were hurted and harmed by us during this samsaric journey without knowing what is right and what is wrong. We might have chosen wrong ways when it comes to solving problems. Unwholesome deeds were were conducted, and many were harmed and hurted by our actions. Let us remind them as well, and also all the deities in 6 realms of gods and 20 planes of Brahma. And let us remind all the sentient beings in the universe as well, and transfer this meritorious power to them with metta and kindness. May they be happy and delighted, and may they rejoice on these meritorious deeds, and may they get rid of all the sinful acts and replace those sinful acts with meritorious deeds, and may they lead happy lives, ultimately understanding the reality of the world, attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Transfer this meritorious power to them with metta and kindness with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu.
So we'll be ending this discussion with a blessing, with a Pali stanza අභිවාදන සීලිස නිච්ඡං වද්ධා පචායනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩಂತಿ ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුරාරෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේ විචාතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පatti විනාතේ සමිච්ඡතු සෝපත්තේ. May everyone attain the supreme bliss nibbana.
Thank you very much, Venerable Thero, for your time again today to discuss the Dhamma, and also to those who are here who put forward the questions and was here promptly to continue our discussion. With that, we conclude today's session. Theruvan Saranai to all. Theruvan Saranai.
Theruvan Saranai.